Hello and welcome to Husky Talk, the MMA report with Mr. Tyler King. We are sponsored by Procyon Partners, the complete financial services firm. They specialize in wealth management, employee benefits, retirement plan services. Procyon
Oh,
Partners, they deliver exceptional outcomes. They're a proud sponsor of Husky Talk. Sean Rabinowitz, he is a proud sponsor of Husky Talk. He's been on the show and he's been phenomenal, and people want more of him. They were
Christmas
also
party.
recently named one of the 50 fastest growing financial services firms in the United States. They're a boutique consulting and service company serving business owners and executives nationwide. So Tyler and I, when we get money, we'll be sure to come to Sean Rabinowitz at Procyon, which is located in Shelton, Connecticut. Tyler, how are you
What do
doing?
you What do you mean when, Steve?
Well, when the podcast takes off and we get a bunch of big time sponsors and can throw a lot of money around. Yeah, that's when I think we'll go. But if you're ready, yeah, go right ahead.
Well,
Go take them on.
mhm,
I think you should. Um,
I agree.
yeah, for the work that you're putting in. We're gonna start honestly. It's not necessarily MMA related, but it's pretty much the news of the week in the fight world. Um, Nate Diaz, who is the character of all characters, um, he finally got his revenge over Jorge Masvidal in a professional boxing ring Saturday. And this is the difference because, Nate Diaz had complained about fighter pay for a while. He does this boxing match and he made some good money. He made some good money off of it. He won by decision. It went 10 rounds and it headlined the pay-per-view event. Um, it was a split decision, but
Steve.
it avenged his third round TKO in 2019 when they met in UFC. So you, having watched the fight, what was your take? What was your takeaway from it?
Steve, you are the definition. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're a very good broadcaster. Um, but you kind of came off there as a
Yeah,
definition of a talking head. It wasn't bad. Like I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty good. The way you could really work that.
a talking head. I'm a talking
Yes,
head. What
yes,
about what?
talking
What
head.
did I say that was a
Okay.
talking
Oh
head?
no, like you're really good about kind of regurgitating the
Well,
facts of the matter.
yeah, I'm just I report the
I'm just giving you a
news. You're
compliment.
you're the analyst. You're the analyst. I
I know.
report news.
I'm just saying.
I'm not giving analysis
Okay.
of the fight. You're giving the analysis of the
Oh,
fight.
I know.
I'm
Oh, I
giving the
know.
news.
Steve, like I'm just saying, that was a very good Bob Costa impression. Um, uh,
Bob Costas. You just compared me to Bob Costas?
well,
Wow.
well,
That's
just,
impressive.
just, oh, well, I mean, not quite that caliber, but, um, well,
I
like,
will take
okay,
it.
with that kind of, with like that kind of lead in, like when you read like just the facts, Nate Diaz avenging his loss, which was
Well,
a second
I
round TK. Well, no,
I
let me
saw
finish.
that.
Let
I
me
saw that.
finish. Yes, I know. Second round TKO
Yes.
where it was a cut that the New York State Athletic Commission stopped the fight because of
Right,
Nate
right.
Diaz could Nate Diaz could have kept fighting that fight. With that being said,
With that
um,
being said, I did watch that fight as well, but I thought
it
it should
wasn't
have been
enough.
stopped.
No,
You don't think it should
that
have been
fight,
stopped?
no, definitely not. That
Oh,
the original
okay.
fight. I
Yeah.
mean, if like that's if the skid started hanging off, yeah, it should have been stopped. But it was just an open like flap of skin at that point. Nothing was hanging off. It wasn't bleeding into his eye. Nate Diaz is known for cuts. The New York State Athletic Commission. It was
Well,
their first. It was like their first really big MMA
oh, you're
event. So
right. You're
the judges
right.
were really experienced in
Yeah,
that regard.
you're right. You're
There's a lot
right.
that goes. There's a lot that goes into that.
You're
So
right. MMA had just been approved in New York that year. I
exactly.
completely forgot about that.
And
So
with that being said,
you think that made a difference? Like
I
the
just think that
judges are all New York State guys?
well, the officials are. I don't think that
Oh,
fight. I just don't think that fight should have been stopped. That's
okay.
all. I
Okay.
attribute it. I attribute it to A. I don't know where the money was going, but B. The fact that they're inexperienced in officiating MMA events, especially
Right.
ones of that magnitude and
Caliber.
caliber.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Like
okay. I
like the
didn't think of it
UFC is
like
the
that.
yeah, like the UFC is the matchroom boxing or the like I don't like honestly boxing's just so muddy down and corrupt at this point. I don't
It
know
is.
which
It's a
promote
mess.
I
It's a
don't know
mess.
which promotion would be the biggest, but like the UFC is a first class promotion.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they
But
and
boxing pays better for some
but
reason.
not even that, but like what I was talking to say is those officials that would officiate or be present at an event of this caliber in boxing weren't familiar enough with the rule set of MMA to make that call, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I did not know that.
Okay.
I had
Yeah.
thought that the officials would come experienced, especially from for a main event. I thought they'd come from Vegas or
There's a lot.
somewhere. I didn't know they
Well,
were New York officials.
there's a lot of crossover between boxing and mixed martial arts officials, but
Okay.
you're talking about what they usually wouldn't bring them to Vegas for an event with. Honestly, Athletic Commission is big and experienced as New York State. The thing is, they're experienced in boxing, not mixed martial arts.
So the boxing match, it
Yeah.
went 10 rounds.
Yep.
Um, Diaz won, I'm sorry, I guess by majority decision. I thought it was split decision.
I remember it being majority decision. I
Okay. Do
I
you
think I
did
think
he
one
tear him
one
up?
judge did tear him up. This fight really goes to what you attribute more damage versus like landed. If
Oh,
Jorge landed less, he landed the bigger shots.
right.
Nate was just on the entire time, landing shots, landing shots, landing shots. Like Nate put out more volume. He landed a lot. Jorge didn't put out as much volume, but he put some giant shots on Nate, and Nate just ate them.
So according to the numbers, um, the total landed, Nate Diaz landed 151 punches. Masvidal actually landed 182. But as you said, the jabs landed. Nate Diaz landed 36 jabs. Masvidal landed 30 out of wow, 316 jabs thrown for Diaz, 204 from Masvidal,
Yeah,
11%. And then the power, which you talked about,
yeah.
Masvidal, 152 power shots landed compared to only 115 for Nate Diaz.
So
So, wow, that's a tough one. I mean, that's got
let
to be a
me
tough one to score.
let me put it this way. Um,
The official
uh,
scoring is what
no,
wow, a little
I
off.
listen. I'm just saying about the best way to say what I'm about to say from both a understandability for the audience and for myself and all the people I respect out of this that are involved in this fight. The most politically correct way to say this. Um, the fight was in California.
Yes. Yep.
Nate Diaz is from California. Nate
Oh,
Diaz
come
won.
on, Tyler.
let me finish. Nate Diaz won a close fight. If that fight was, shut up for a second.
It
If
wasn't a
this fight,
close fight
shut
according
the
to the
fuck
scorecard.
up. Will you watch it? Excuse. By the way, sorry, I just I let
That's
one go.
fine. I'll
Just
I'll
shut
I'll
up and
I'll
let me go.
I'll edit it
Just
out. Go
shut
ahead.
up and so
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
start over. The fight was in California. Nate Diaz is from California. It was a very close fight. If the fight was in Miami, Jorge Masvidal is from Miami. It was a very close fight. If that fight was in Vegas, it was a very close fight. That's the. I think there's something to be said for what I just said. The fight was in
California.
like Nate Diaz's his backyard. If it was in Jorge Masvidal's backyard, it might have been different. If it was in Las Vegas, it might have been different. I say Las Vegas as a neutral location, and
Correct.
Masvidal said this after the fight. Let's do it again in a neutral location. Now, I'm not saying Nate Diaz didn't win because I myself scored that fight for Nate Diaz round by round.
You did personally? Wow.
A couple of those rounds were pretty fucking close, but I scored them for Nate Diaz because he landed more.
Try not to drop F bombs.
Yeah,
So
I'm trying. I only dropped one. We're okay.
you just dropped another.
I'm
The
sorry. Okay.
the judges scorecard, okay?
Yeah.
One of them had Diaz winning 98 to 92.
Yeah.
98 to 92. The other one had him 97 to 93. I mean that's a pretty big differential for boxing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
several rounds.
Okay.
And
You
then
also, but
the
listen to
third the
me.
third judge had it even a draw at
Yeah.
95
Yeah.
95, which I thought was outrageous.
So think about you have three different judges, all seeing different positions at ringside, and you got
Oh,
a couple.
they're at different positions?
Yeah, they have three different positions at ringside.
Oh, I
They
didn't
are
know that either.
and you also like A, human error. B, what are they scoring more? Punches landed, volume, round by they're all scoring it round by round. So the big thing
Is that what you did? You actually chart the punches thrown and the punches landed? Is that how you do
I
your scoring?
if I was a judge, I would definitely be writing more things down. But
Okay.
you're going round by round, and I'm
Okay.
saying, okay, who won this round? Who
Right.
landed more shots? Who landed more shots? Who landed more
Right.
damaging shots? That's kind of the
Okay.
way I
I see
think
how you're
about it.
saying it. Okay.
With
Who won
that
the
being
round?
said, with that being said, there's a couple rounds there where the way I'm watching, I'm like, okay, Nate's ahead right now. Then Jorge would come back and land a couple of bombs, and I'd be like, ooh, okay, Jorge might have just taken that round over. They'd land like another combination. It's like, okay, then maybe Nate would come back with a good flurry. Like those, they can. The human error is a real thing. They talk
No,
about
I
guys.
know it is. It's
They talk
very
about guys.
subjective.
They talk about judges giving guys rounds. They talk about guys stealing rounds. As let me put it down. Put the Zen down.
No, I
But
agree with you. I agree.
yeah. So so like I said, the subjectivity of it. But like for me, obviously, I was biased. I was pulling for Diaz. So
I love Nate Diaz too, and
yeah. No,
Masvidal's
okay.
entertaining, but I
Don't
Nate
get me
Diaz
wrong.
to me is the man.
Well, I love Jorge as well. He's one of my all-time favorites.
But
Like,
Nate Diaz, the best fight I've ever seen in MMA was his victory over Conor McGregor. Like I couldn't believe it. That was
why
such
couldn't you believe it?
the first fight. I was
No,
shocked. Like I was
I wasn't.
legitimately shocked.
I
The
wasn't.
the second fight, I thought that he should have won. He lost. I can't remember. Was it by decision the second one?
The
Or
second
I thought
fight,
he got
Connor won by decision.
yeah, Connor won by decision, but I mean he dominated that fight, I thought.
No,
Uh
Connor
I thought
dominated.
Connor did the second fight. No?
Connor dominated him. No, but It
Well, I
was.
thought it was clear that he was going to win by
I
decision.
thought. Yeah, I thought Connor. I thought not that he was trying to outpoint him, but I think Connor outpointed him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Diaz, who I would say doesn't exactly speak eloquently,
That's fair.
was quoted after the fight saying, "I'm going to beat Jake Paul's effing ass. I'm going to fight the highest ranked boxer I can find. My main objective is to be the best fighter in the world. So I want to go back and get a UFC title. He wants the UFC welterweight champion, Leon Edwards, Jake Paul, and anybody the F else, you're dead."
Yeah. That.
Quote,
See.
quote,
That's.
quote, quote
I'm
from
sorry. That's a
quote
hot
from Nate
take right
Diaz.
there.
That's a hot,
That's a hot take right there.
hot take from Nate Diaz.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Hey,
but
I would pay money to see all of that.
but
Like
realistically, this goes back to our debate. Okay, he
Yeah.
wants the UFC welterweight title or whatever, and he wants the box. UFC does not allow that to happen. Only on rare occasions, and only when they get a significant cut of the pie.
Okay.
Am I correct?
Yeah, but okay. Let's play the scenario game. Let's say Carr comes back, beats Chandler. Let's say he beats him in November.
You think Connor is going to beat Michael
No,
Chandler?
just listen, just listen.
All right, I'll listen.
We're playing the what if game. Sorry
It's
about that.
hypothetical. Okay, hypothetical. All right,
So
I'll play.
let's say Conor McGregor comes back and
Yep.
just slices up Michael Chandler, like first or early second round knockout. Okay,
Okay.
let's say that happens. Let's say immediately. Let's say in that meantime, Nate Diaz rematches Jake Paul and beats him.
Well, Nate Diaz
Listen,
versus Jake Paul is going to be boxing, though. I believe. Correct.
listen, yes, listen to
Okay.
me.
Okay. I'm
Let's
listening.
say
Just
that happens.
clarifying.
So, okay. So, Connor fights Leon Edwards, like around the same time that
Yep.
Nate Diaz fights Jake Paul. Let's say they both win. You're
Okay.
telling me.
I'm
You're
on
telling
board
me.
with that.
You're telling me off of those two fights and that kind of publicity, Dana White would re-sign Nate Diaz to a sizable UFC contract.
He'd be out of his mind not to.
Yeah, and then they make the Nate
Trilogy.
Diaz versus Jake Paul. Excuse me, Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor trilogy for the UFC welterweight titles.
100%. I agree with you.
Or let's say Leon's the champ. They make Conor versus Leon. Then Nate resigns with the UFC. Then we get Conor Nate 3.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily need the belt. I agree with you.
No. Conor could come in, beat Leon. Then
Yep.
they would do Nate versus Conor for the belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I
Again,
see what you're saying.
so like this is all super duper hypothetical.
I don't think
right?
I honestly
No, it
don't think
is.
it's that hypothetical because Nate
Oh, it's very.
Diaz
Oh, go ahead.
he's going to fight Jake Paul, right?
Yeah, most likely.
Okay.
If I was a betting man, that's the fight that I would bet gets made.
He'll probably beat Jake Paul.
Well, here's the other thing. Jake Paul has a upcoming boxing match with Mike fucking Perry. Excuse my French. With everyone bleep that. Sorry. With Mike Perry. I think that's in like
The one that was supposed to be with Tyson.
Yeah, he's having a boxing match with Mike
Yeah,
Perry.
it's July 20th. Correct.
Like,
You're right.
there's a lot to be said. Dude, Mike Perry might kill Jake Paul. Mike Perry is a different animal.
I apologize. I am not as knowledgeable. I did not know who Mike Perry is, what weight class he fights in, and is he a champion? Is he older, younger?
He
Can you
is.
give me the
I believe he's early 30s. He
okay.
fought in the he fought in the welterweight division, um, and he was an absolute animal.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
power puncher, mauler, heavy hands. Put a lot of people to sleep. Had a lot of great fights. The fights
So
he lost, like Cowboy nearly ripped his arm off.
so
Like
he's not a walk in the park for Jake Paul.
he's not walking the park for
For
anybody.
anyone. Okay.
For anybody, especially with the most likely lax drug testing for this fight.
Yes. Yes.
Like I expect Mike Perry's gonna come in swole and angry for that fight. But yeah,
Okay. The other thing
you see the fight world is a very fluid place, Stephen.
no, I mean I agree with you. And I think Jake Paul came off the two victories against the former UFC guy. Who was it? Do you recall?
Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, that shocked me. I did not see that coming at all. I thought Woodley would definitely
Well,
put Jake Paul in his place, and he did
there
not.
is there is a lot to be said for age, and Tyron Woodley was a wrestler first.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was the suspicion that he may have stayed
Take
down. I don't know. Do you subscribe to that theory at all? I don't think any respectable fighter would do that regardless of the payday. I mean, it's Jake Paul.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't give a lot of credence to this, but the fight world is a.
Yeah, no, it's a different business. It's a different business. I agree with you.
My official answer is no. I don't think.
I
Tyron
don't
Woodley
either.
took it out.
I agree with you.
That's just my
Um,
official. That's just my official answer, though.
yep, that's fine.
Okay.
So ESPN came out with an interesting article today.
Yeah.
The 2024 MMA Mid-Year Awards.
Yes.
And I thought this was very interesting. There have been 36 fight cards put on this far in 2024 by the three biggest promotions. That's UFC, PFL, and Bellator.
Yeah.
Across the events, new
PFL
champion.
Bellator one entity now, but yes.
But yeah, they counted them separate for this. Across the events, new champions have been crowned. Big name fighters have changed promotions and weight classes. And plus a few cards have been saved at the last minute by the likes of your man Alex Pereira and Dan Inge. With that
Dan
being said,
Ige.
Ige. Wait,
Okay.
Dan Ige. I'll get it right. All right. So the for the mid-year men's fighter of the year, receiving 100% of the votes. Who do you think it was?
Yuri.
No.
Obviously, it was Alex Pereira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arguably had one of the great 6 month stretches in UFC history. He not only knocked out two former champions in Hill and Yuri, but he did it as a headliner in two landmark events, UFC 300 and then UFC 303. And he did it both on short notice. I don't know how many fighters have the capability to take on fights of that magnitude on short notice. Because I like Tyler, I don't know the world like you do, but if you're not on a card, if you're not in a training camp, what is it like? Are you just consistently training and training and training? Because a
If
training
you're
camp is
good,
different. A training camp is different than just regular training, correct?
yeah. If you're a elite guy and you're good,
Yeah,
you're still gonna be training.
right.
From what I understand, and just I didn't really dig that much, but I understand he was always at practice and training at Glove Teixeira's gym in Connecticut. So
Okay. So he was
I
ready at a moment's notice. Like it wasn't a huge.
it was exactly a moment's notice, but it was pretty short. What was
No,
it?
no, it was right. It was a couple
It was like
weeks. You're right.
It was like 3 weeks, right?
You're right.
The UFC probably made both worth their.
No, they did, and they said they're going to take care of Yuri, and they said they're going to take care of Alex as well. Um,
Oh,
my other question to you: how long is a typical PFL UFC training camp? If you know, okay, I'm going to fight like it's July right now.
yeah.
If McGregor and Chandler say they're going to fight in November, when does that training camp start?
They'll kind of build as of right now. They be building up to like the training camp part of it, and
Okay,
depending on the guy, usually between 6 and
8 weeks,
honestly, some guys go 4 to 8 weeks now.
4 to 8 weeks
Four to
for a
12,
camp.
like 4 to 12, anywhere from 4 to 12, to be honest, depending on the
Be,
guy, the weight class, etc.
because it's got to be tough with
Yeah.
the risk of injury, even training. If it training hard, and you're grappling, you're wrestling, you're striking, you're playing defense, you're working on your counters. There's so much that you have to work on. The chance of injury. I mean, you really to go hard and train hard and be careful and not get hurt for 8 weeks, that definitely has to take some skill from you, and that's got to take skill from your coaching and your sparring partners as well, right? Yeah,
Steve, can you hear me?
yeah, I got you.
Sorry. Can we pause for a second?
You want to pause for a second? Okay,
Yeah,
give
is
me
that
one.
possible? Is that okay?
Yeah, give me 1 second. All right, and we are back. So, the next award, the 2024 Women's Fighter of the Mid-Year.
Ooh.
It's actually a tie between two females, and I wanted to see if you would be able to give a couple guesses, throw a couple names out there.
Uh, uh, Kayla
I'll get
Harrison,
I'll give you Kayla Harrison is one of them. Yes, correct.
Weili Zhang.
Correct again. It's
Wow, I'm pleased.
it says Zhang Weili, but it's pronounced the
Oh
other.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Weili. I think it is. Hey, I'm sorry. I don't know for sure, but yeah.
Well, according to ESPN,
Uh,
there wasn't a lot to decide on here for fighter of the mid-year, considering that the biggest names either fought once or not at all. That being said,
yeah,
your girl Harrison,
yeah.
Kayla Harris,
Uh-huh.
dominated in her debut, which I did see against Holly
Yeah,
Holm,
of
which is
course.
I'm so disappointed because I'm a Holly Holm fan. After she beat,
Uh,
after she beat Ronda Rousey, I thought she was going to take off, and then she didn't want to wait around for the rematch, and she took the fight. Was it against Zingano, or I can't remember who. She took a fight against someone that ended up being the champion. It was her first title defense.
Amanda Nunes.
No, it wasn't Amanda Nunes.
That Ronda fought when she came back.
No. Misha Tate. That's who Holly Holm. Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey for the title, and then instead of waiting for the rematch, which UFC encouraged her to do, she refused. And she wanted to fight, so she took a fight against Misha Tate, thinking that
Yeah,
she was,
but the thing
and
is,
she lost.
but the thing is, after Ronda got knocked out by Holly, Ronda's next fight wasn't for like I
No,
want to
for
say a year.
2 years.
It was like a year or more.
It was 2 years.
That sounds right.
It was 2 years.
And she got decimated. Got decimated by Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, that was just my opinion of her has gone down significantly. Not that I was a fan, but I did enjoy watching her fight. But her personality, she kind of came off as someone who got butthurt a little too easily. Not shaking hands before the fight, and trying to be a tough guy, and not doing interviews, not doing the media, especially before the Amanda Nunes fight. And then she writes her book and she talks about the WWE, and she kind of badmouths the WWE, who paid her a fortune, who gave her 2 years off basically to have her kid and be pregnant. And her argument is, if this was real, I could beat everyone. And she didn't like when she was technically a face, a good guy, that she was getting booed, and she didn't respond to it well. But I don't think she'll be back in a WWE ring. Her contract's up there. I don't know that she'll come back to
Ronda
UFC.
will never fight. Ronda will never fight again.
But you gotta. She's a trailblazer. I give her all that. She beat everyone. I don't know that she faced the greatest competition like there is now, but
there's a lot of things that go on with that. A lot of it was right place, right time.
Yep. She was from Strikeforce, right?
She was the Strikeforce Women's Champion.
Right.
She defended her title, and it was literally the event after the UFC had bought Strikeforce, and she got this amazing crowd reaction.
And Dana White had said, "I will never let women fight in our promotion."
Yeah, they saw the crowd response,
and then he changed his mind really fast.
He's a promoter for a reason.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way. The comment she made in her book about the WWE,
about the business,
and the WWE paid her a fortune, and she worked. I mean, she only worked 2 years. They gave her time off. She worked 2 full years, and then took 2 years off in between. She worked a year, took 2 years off, worked a year. And got paid all 4 years. Like,
I'm not disputing anything you said, and I'm not even talking about what I know about Ronda personally. It's been kind of like her, reputation since WWE, since the UFC days. So it's not really a surprising thing.
Did she have that reputation before she had the loss?
No. Well, maybe
she had a little bit. But
I mean, she was, a super mega star in the UFC.
Yeah,
the UFC she was a big part of the UFC's come up, to be honest. So
she was. She had a couple.
But again, there's something be said for landing in a bottle, right place, right time.
I agree with you. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head with the 2 women. 2024, most improved fighter mid-year. He got 36% of the votes. So it must have been a close race.
What weight class?
145, I believe.
Max Holloway?
No, it was Mr. Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez.
What's he ranked?
I am not sure what he's ranked. No one expected higher. So what happened was Ortega, Brian Ortega, on just 2 weeks' notice for UFC 303, Lopez took the fight because of it, because there was an injury, and he took it at lightweight. But when Ortega struggled to make the weight, then he took an entirely new fight altogether. That was the one we talked about.
Dan Ige?
Dan Ige at 165 pounds against Dan Ige when Ortega withdrew. So Lopez, he will most certainly get a top 5 opponent next, and there's a chance that he could be favored. So do you know for sure why Ortega withdrew from the fight? Was it because of the weight cut?
I've heard the weight cut. No, I don't think there's been an official story or official reason released.
Oh, okay. I'm looking now just to see.
They're saying difficulty with weight cut, right?
No, I mean, they're just saying that Ortega was tabbed to face Lopez in the co-main event on short notice. Or yes, and he had difficulty cutting weight for the featherweight fight. And they negotiated to bump it up to lightweight, which was 155. And he could make that. So they went with the catchweight bout and brought in Dan Ige.
There you go.
Dan Ige to fight Diego Lopez in the co-main event. And like we said, that was an incredible fight. And Dan Ige showed his mettle for sure. I mean, he showed what he was made of. And then I believe the next award, and I'm sure you're going to get this. This is a male and female award combined, so it can be either a male or a female. The newcomer of the year, with 86% of the votes. Who do you think it is?
Poeton.
I'll give you a hint. You already mentioned her.
Poeton. Oh, her?
Her.
Oh, Wang Z. Weiling Z.
No. Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison.
Most improved? Wait, most improved?
Yeah, most improved. It's in the mid-year.
I don't know about that, bro.
I agree with you because
she's had one UFC fight.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Was that her first? This is what I'm not sure about.
That was her UFC debut. Yes.
Well, not that. Was that her first fight since her loss?
Bigger story. I don't know if it was her first fight since her loss, but I knew it was her first UFC fight. And
I mean, if it was her first fight,
she shrunk down to bantamweight, which was huge.
Well, she's always been known to have struggled to weight. Number one. Number two.
Who was her loss to?
She lost at 155, I believe, at 55. It
yes,
could have been 45.
It was 155. Yes.
I don't know. I can't remember her name, but scary looking Brazilian lady with
I
neck
will.
tattoos.
Okay. I will check.
The scary looking Brazilian lady with the neck tattoos.
She lost to
Some
Larissa
Portuguese name.
Larissa Pacheco. Larissa Pacheco. That
Portuguese
is
name. She's
that is
Brazilian. Was that her last fight before the UFC against Holly?
no. She won
Okay.
a unanimous decision November 24th, 2023 against Aspen Ladd
Aspen Ladd.
at featherweight. And
Okay.
Aspen Ladd was 12-5-0.
Aspen Ladd is an ex UFC top 10, I believe. I mean, I don't know if you can give her most improved. Like she's been elite for years, just not in the UFC. She was one of the most coveted free agents. Um, whenever free agency has come up. So I mean,
Yeah.
I
No,
don't know if
I
I call
agree.
her most improved. Like, dude,
It's tough
listen,
because
she's kind of always been here. I wouldn't call her most improved. If
yeah,
that was her first fight, coming
her
off
first
her only
yeah,
coming off her only career loss, I could see
right.
most improved. But
I
I
agree
mean,
with you.
I see. I don't know who voted or who wrote the article, and I can see the argument for it. But
Well, you
I
want to know
mean,
what the argument is?
what is that?
They're making a big deal that she managed to shrink herself down to the women's bantamweight division.
All
That's,
right,
I think, why
listen,
they're giving her so much credit
I am not trying to throw shade here.
for that weight cut.
I am not trying to throw shade here. But Kayla's physique has always been a little soft. It looks like she probably got the biggest financial windfall of her career and actually
Yep,
really
yep.
committed to her diet. That's all. And I'm not trying to talk
No, I'm
shit
sure to
or
cut that amount of weight for sure. She had to.
like
I agree with you.
they made it worth her while, and she fell off the excuse of being a single mom.
I agree with you.
Like
But
I'm not trying to talk shit. She's like, she probably just she made enough money. She always won the tournament. No one could really touch her in the PFL, so she finally kind of buckled down. She probably got her biggest like
yeah,
one fight payday. Like
yeah,
she's made a
yeah.
lot of money in PFL
I agree.
tournaments, but she probably made the most amount of money she's made on a one night payday ever.
Oh,
She actually probably really committed.
easily,
She probably really committed to it this time, like her
easily.
diet, and it made a world of difference. I mean, she's a,
No,
as much as I'm kind of poking a little fun here. She's an elite athlete. She's she's a 2 or 3 time Olympian gold medalist. Like she knows how to buckle down and use that absurd willpower to perform. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. At her age, it's a little surprising her body responded so well, but hey, it did. Congratulations to her. But most improved, I don't know.
so we're gonna talk about the PFL for a little bit. I just wanted to get your thoughts since the regular season has been going. The top four fighters qualify for the playoffs. In the featherweight division, our guy Brendan Lofton has 11 points. He's 2-0. You got to see him fight. What are your thoughts on him? Do you think that obviously the next event isn't until August? Do you see him stepping up, making the playoffs and having a legit shot at the title? Or some of the other names here, Gabriel Braga, Cal Kamaka, they're also 2-0. And Timur, I'm not going to try to say his last name.
Well, Steve, I'm not that familiar with those guguys.
They're
If
they're 2-0.
they've all gone 2-0, already. It all depends on the next matchup, like who are they fighting.
Yeah. Yep. It depends where they're going to end up on the card.
All right.
Basically, how the
Yeah.
standings are going to turn out. I wanted to also ask about, because everyone always talks about it, and like you said, it matters who's on the card, and it matters the point system, obviously, which is a cool way of doing things. The heavyweight division. Um, People have criticized, obviously, the heavyweight division because what's his face,
What's
Francis
his face?
Francis Ngannou, is not there, and he's pretty much going to be guaranteed a title shot regardless of when he decides to come in. Um, right now, leading the charge is Dennis Golstov, who's 2-0 with 10 points. Oleg Popov is 1-0 with 8 points. And then it's just Tim Johnson is 1-0 with 6 points. And another Russian, I believe, Valentin Moldavsky, is 1-1 with 6 points. The rest is kind of a log jam. 0-2, 0-2, 0-1, 0-1, 0-1. The out of the 12 fighters, out of the top four that we just mentioned, only 3 fighters have one win out of
All
that
right.
group.
See. All right. So I guess I'll go X's and O's for you right now. Let's talk about that top four. So looking at this season, that's a fairly strong top four. But right now, what they're doing, what they should call this tournament, is the Francis Ngannou sweepstakes. You win this tournament, you win the title, and then you get to fight Francis Ngannou for a lot of money and a lot of head trauma. Um,
A lot, yeah, that is true. You're going to get both. You're going to get both
uh,
significantly.
with
But
that being said, that's the dark horse in that race. That out of that top four right now would be Tim Johnson. You're looking at a guy,
really,
100%. His last fight very entertaining. They
yeah,
Tim
he
fin-
he was.
Tim finished the guy and got nut shot at the same time.
He
Like
did.
the guy. If Tim hadn't ate a nut shot, that was a finish right there. And I believe he did end up finishing it a few minutes later. Tim Johnson's dark horse with the kind of big fight experience he has, and the fact that he's 2-0 already had a crazy highlight in the tournament, and he's been. I don't want to say he's been there before, but he's been to a life. He's been fighting the. Actually, I believe he was in Bellator. Excuse me.
Right, right.
Excuse me. Sorry, a little hiccup there.
No, you did. It's okay. You can fart next if you want. It's okay.
Thank you,
Um,
Steven. Thank you for
I
your permission.
I wanted to ask you this as well because
Yeah.
Bellator is owned by PFL, but
Yeah.
PFL is also doing a Bellator Champions Series,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is going to start in September. Now, do you think, obviously, this is going to be a good idea because Bellator kind of had more of a brand name than PFL, and now PFL is trying to establish itself, and they have been with the way that everything is structured, with the point system, with the tournaments. Why are you laughing at me? You're
I'm not
laughing.
laughing at. I'm not laughing at you. I smiled.
You're smiling. Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
saying because they fall under one company,
Yeah.
but Bellator series doing that separate from
Yeah.
PFL. Um, is that going to confuse the audience? Can they follow both? What do you think about it?
Well, I think the thing about like my biggest thought about is both marketing and brand recognition. Bellator,
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
whether or not what you thought about Bellator as far as an organization, their structure, what have you, they were owned by Viacom, very visible promotion. People in the MMA sphere and a little bit in the pop culture sphere, not so much as the UFC. They're aware of Bellator brand. They couldn't just drop it and
No,
put
I
everything
agree.
under the PFL umbrella.
Right.
So they're kind of using what they bought as far they're trying to bleed all the I don't want to say bleed, but
They're
use
trying to get as
all
much
the
out of it. Yeah.
yeah, try to get all the name recognition, try to establish some of these guys as they move them over and try to make it more of a platform for the PFL. They're going to really try to legitimize these guys, like really give them the best amount of publicity and kind of use that written name recognition and brand quality that Bellator had to add legitimacy to the PFL brand.
Now, do you think someone like Nate Diaz, I know he wants to go to UFC and win another belt and take on the top competition or whatever, but the allure of PFL
No,
allowing him to take outside fights,
no.
allowing him to do
Well,
what
the
he
one
wants.
thing is,
There's no
the
way
thing
that
is, the,
you would go
no,
there.
the UFC will never let another fighter take another fight in an MMA promotion, nor will they ever
No, but
co-promote.
Nate Diaz isn't still under contract with
No,
UFC, is
no,
he?
like the point. No, he's not. But the point I'm making is Nate
Yeah,
Diaz is a different character. He's a different cat.
correct.
He'll never
Correct.
fight in the he'll never fight in the PFL. That'll never happen. He doesn't need to either way because his next fight in the UFC, whether it's Leon or whether it's Connor, will be a massive payday, and they'll be
Oh, I
paying
see what
him a
you're
lot of
saying.
money regardless.
I see
Um,
what you're saying.
it,
Okay.
it it's it'd be such a giant step backwards from so many different perspectives. Nate Diaz would never do that. Now,
So then you would agree that Francis Ngannou doing it was a mistake.
France is a different story. Um, he immediately left the UFC and was very competitive in a boxing match versus the undisputed world champion. So it's a different story. It's a different scenario. When Francis comes back, he's taking a couple losses in boxing. He won't be his name won't be as strong from a promotion standpoint,
Oh, you
but
think it hurt him
it'll
that
be
much taking those
not.
losses?
It didn't hurt him that much, but when he comes back to MMA, like what you got to hear Dana White saying, "Oh, he's coming off. He's 1-2 in or 0-2 in boxing, coming off a knockout or two knockouts or three losses or whatever it is." When he finally fights MMA, Francis Ngannou also he's made enough money. He might just retire and never fight again.
You
I
think
don't.
there's a chance that he could retire and not fight
Yeah,
again?
100% the kind of money he's made in the last 12 months.
Well, that's
100%.
true. That's true. The last two fights. That's
And
true.
it's,
The last two
I mean,
fights.
I've heard in training he's training like he's getting ready to fight. So I mean, I don't know, but his coach at Extreme Couture, I can't remember Tim's last name right now. I believe his first name is Tim. Was speaking about how after the knockout he just said, "Francis, get out of the gym. Don't like go away for a while." And now he's just getting back into the gym, and they're kind of seeing the old Francis again, whatever that means. According to those guys and the people around him. So I mean, we'll see what he is
Yeah.
when he comes back. That's
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like, yes, he's definitely from, especially the knockout he took from Anthony Joshua. He's
Right.
not
Right.
his promotional value, and just no one knows. He might like
Wow.
after a knockout like that. It took me a long time
Yeah.
to come
No, it
back
does.
from a knockout like that. So I mean,
It
we
does.
will
No, it
see.
does.
Like,
No, you know what? It's something. Well, we have a show
like
Thursday with
which
Jim Tucker, and maybe it's
yeah,
something we can ask him, and he'll give us some inside info
yeah.
on Francis Ngannou and the PFL, because
Uh-huh.
watching the PFL event, I I did see a difference in style from UFC. It definitely seemed more. It seemed faster. The pace was more of a sense of urgency that they were trying to get finishes. They were trying to. They weren't. looking to get points and then stay on defense to win by decision. It seemed like
Well,
they were being more the fighting seemed more aggressive than
well, in the
UFC.
in the point system, you get more points
Oh, that's
for
okay. So that's
you get more
why.
points for finishes and whatnot.
That's why. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Crown Sports Entertainment. Do you have anyone fighting in the next week or two? I know you mentioned July 20th.
July 20th, we have the prodigy Ozzy Toro Martin defending his Cage Titans amateur welterweight title versus a challenger by the name of Jay Curley coming in at 2-0. So they're calling this the biggest amateur title fight in Cage Titans history. I respectfully disagree
Disagree.
because as as you know, Mike Polver, all the staff over there, Nick over at K Shines are masters of production and building hype for a fight. But my guy Ozzy will he'll get him out of it most likely in the first round, maybe the second
And
round. But if I was a betting man and you could bet amateur fights, Ozzy
you
will win
can.
probably. I would say first round knockout.
And we'll also give a shout out to 42nd Brew Co., who is a
Absolutely.
sponsor of Cage Titans, and our good friend Stephen Darby. I was in Worcester this past weekend, uh, buying his product and bringing it to Utica, so everyone's excited to try it. And it's good that they're doing that. What
um,
about yourself? Are you
well,
looking to take on any fights,
well,
any comers?
I wasn't even done yet because another fighter we're working with by the name of Gavin O'Connell, undefeated amateur fighter, and thank God, most likely Ozzy will be turning pro after this fight. I want to say thank God because he and Gavin won't cross paths as they're both welterweights. Gavin 3-0, looking for his fourth win after Ozzy vacates that amateur title. Gavin will be fighting for it in his next event. Myself, I'll be participating
All
in
right.
in Enigma Promotions, a submission grappling match that you can purchase a stream on Enigma TV subscription service. They do an amazing job. Christos Papadopoulos, the
It's a different
promoter,
show altogether.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
just submission grappling. Um,
Okay.
ADCC rules, I believe. Um, Christos, who's done an amazing job with this promotion, training out of Austin, Texas, which is the new capital of submission grappling in the
Oh
combat
wow.
sports world. Um, he's done a number of these shows. It's the first time he's from, and he's coming back to Massachusetts. He's at my friend Mike Zichelli's school, uh, Z Team Fight Team. Looking forward to going there, seeing the facility, and putting on a great show. I don't
You
even know the
always
name of the guy.
do.
I don't even know the name of the guy. I'm grappling. I can go back and
Doesn't
look real
even
quick.
matter. It's only your name that counts on the marquee.
Well, he's welcome for giving him some a little bit of free promotion before I choke him out.
Well, again, I would like to thank our sponsor, Procyon Partners, the complete financial services firm specializing in wealth management, employee benefits, and retirement plan services. They deliver exceptional outcomes. They're a proud sponsor of Husky Talk and recently named one of the 50 fastest growing financial services firms in the United States. They're a boutique consulting and service company serving as business owners and executives nationwide. So, this has been Husky Talk MMA with Tyler King on 97.9 Unity Radio, executive producer Ernie Floyd. We hope that you don't fire us and we keep this going because the MMA world has a huge presence in New England. Tyler King knows everyone. and we are going to take this show to the top, just like I've taken Moneyline and WooCast. So,
Sorry
Tyler
about
King,
the F-bombs, guys.
Tyler King, thank you so much again for being with us. This
No
was an
problem.
exceptional show. And we'll have some more events to talk about next week. And I'm the best podcast host in the universe, best radio host in the universe. Doesn't matter. Wherever the host is, I'm the best. Steve Cully. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at life.
Sorry about